Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very merry discussion on patch 3.4 and some of the changes coming to the game in the near future. So this is going to be a long video. Let's dive right into it. Before I start, I would like to give a big thanks to MarkoTurn for doing the live translation for this. Thank you so much, dude. Really appreciate it. So let's kick off our discussion of patch 3.4, Soul Surrender, coming out on Tuesday, September 27th. It is going to be themed around the Warriors of Darkness, so they are going to feature heavily in the storyline. We're also going to get a lot of lore involving Heidelin, which is the planet. That should be pretty cool. Alice will be making a comeback. She's going to be a key figure in the storyline, and her dialogue will change if you've completed the Binding Coil of Bahamut storyline, so make sure to get that done before patch 3.4 drops. We're going to have new quests, new side quests, obviously, new Scholasticate quests in Ishgard, as well as Hildebrand. We are also getting a new Anima quest in subpatch 3.45. So all of the usual, just a bunch of new quests, main scenario, side quests, so on and so forth. We have some pretty major changes to the battle system that a lot of people have been waiting for a very long time. The most prominent of which is action timers will now reset when restarting battles. We've been waiting for this for a long time, and it is finally coming, patch 3.4. They are also making adjustments to auto attacks. Now, as long as you are within range of the enemy, your attacks will land no matter what direction you are facing. This is going to be really, really big for a lot of people's DPS. Some people just have a really hard time staying facing the boss, and you lose out on a lot of damage if you're not landing your auto attacks. So this is really going to help out with people's overall DPS. It's going to be a really nice change. They are also going to be adding certain primals to the raid finder, such as Thornton Extreme. That's going to be really, really nice for bird farming, so on and so forth. You can set up, make sure you've cleared the entire fight, and that way you can queue in with people who have cleared it, and you can farm it a lot easier. There's some room for abuse there, but of course, if somebody's abusing it, you can just kick them, so on and so forth. We will also be getting a countdown feature tied into the UI, so us tanks will no longer need a macro for countdowns for our ninjas and monks to buff up pre-pull, stuff like that. So that's going to be really cool. Nice quality of life changes. Of course, in patch 3.4, we have the final section of Alexander, known as the Creator. It's going to have a normal mode and a savage mode, of course. We get to see Faust's final form. Looks pretty cool, kind of like an outside arena, probably up top before you go inside. The inside also looks very, very cool. Kind of reminds me of Turn 11 from the Binding Coil of Bahamut, aesthetically anyways, but I'm really looking forward to this. Finally going to cap off the storyline on Alexander. Supposedly the last battle is going to be really, really crazy and completely what we don't expect, and I guess they put a lot of time into designing the fight. It's going to be really pretty to watch. A lot of cool things are going to happen. Apparently, like, the development team was struggling with making it happen because of how crazy and how big they wanted it to be. So supposedly this is going to be really hype, so look forward to it. We're also going to be getting a new primal battle, a new warring triad, I almost said triple triad, a new warring triad member, Sophia the Goddess, in Containment Bay P1T6, so that's going to be pretty cool. And of course, as always, we get two new dungeons. One of them is really interesting. We are getting the Ixali's main base in the mountains of Zelfatol. And some of you may remember we actually saw concept art for this a very long time ago, so it's really cool to see this finally getting in-game. I've been wondering, they put up that concept art and it never became a thing. What happened? Well, here it is. We also have the Great Ghoul Ball Library hard mode. Looks really cool. I love the original, so this should be really fun to explore and check out. So all in all, dungeons look really cool for patch 3.4. We have some PvP updates as well. I actually have a PvP video in the works. Should be out pretty soon. But they are adding Dueling to the Wolves Den. Finally, we're going to have some Dueling. It's tacked right onto the main Wolves Den pier, which you can see right here. There's no time limit. However, leaving the arena will forfeit the match. You can queue for dungeons while dueling, so you can just kind of go there and beat up your friends while you wait on the queue. That should be really cool. A good way to challenge your friends and all that stuff like that. We are also getting custom arena matches. You can make 2 light parties and queue up for a match between them. No role restrictions. So if you want to do all warrior, or all healer. That would be a mess. You can do that, and that'll be a lot of fun. You can do a lot of fan-made tournaments and stuff like that, so that's going to be a really neat feature for us PvPers out there. We are also getting a spectator mode, and you will be able to view arena matches going on from multiple camera angles. You can follow, single player, sort of like in an FPS when you die. Up to 8 players can spectate in on a single match. So it'd be, it's just a cool little feature. So if you want to watch some PvP, maybe watch some pros, quote unquote, get some tips and tricks and all that good stuff, you will be able to tune in, and they will have a live demonstration of this feature at the Tokyo Game Show. Deep Dungeons floors 51 through 200 will be in patch 3.4, as well as the job-specific ranking system. So floors 51 through 100 will be about the same difficulty as the current set of floors. The storyline, of course, ends with floor 100, but floors 101 through 200 are going to be very, very difficult. Yoshi-P mentioned at one point that it's pretty much strictly for the hardcore players, and it's made specifically for the leaderboards, which is the ranking system, the job-specific leaderboards, and for the challenge. So if you want some really tough content to chew on, whether solo or with a light party, you will have that in patch 3.45. Now, this is a really, really long time coming. We are finally getting some Grand Company updates. We've been waiting since 1.0 for new ranks, and they are finally coming alongside both new gear and a new system. Platoons, otherwise known as squadrons NA side, will allow you to basically conscript soldiers to fight alongside you in a light party. You're going to be able to mix and match various NPCs with different classes and strengths and weaknesses, and essentially just build up a team to challenge content solo, such as dungeons and the like. So that's going to be really cool. If you're more of a solo player, you will be able to do dungeons solo now. I don't know if it's going to count up to relevant content, but at least older dungeons you will be able to run with your squadron, apparently. And they are also planning on adding some content specifically for squadrons, so you can have, a very specific set of content that revolves around you and your Grand Company squadron. There's also going to be a new quest system involving the lone Mikote girl in Idleshire, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen around. She has pink hair. It is called Wondrous Tales, and it looks like kind of like a cute little thing. You're going to be able to help her create something by telling her tales of your adventure, sort of building up this little story. The book is going to have multiple scenarios and multiple rewards, and as we can see here, there appears to be some tomestones and maybe an Allegan gold piece or something there. It's hard to tell what that is, but just fun new little quest content. Looks to kind of be in line with the exploration log, sort of just an additional little thing you can do if you want. We're going to have some big changes to the Gold Saucer. Most notably, there's going to be a new Triple Triad battle area, which you can queue into via the Duty Finder to play against people on your entire data center. So if you really like Triple Triad, it's going to be a little bit easier to play with people. Lord of Verminion will also now be supported on the Duty Finder as well, so hopefully that'll breathe a little bit of life into it. It's kind of dead since, you have to be in the Gold Saucer to do it right now. That won't be the case after patch 3.4. They are also making a change to the Jumbo Cactpot. You will be able to purchase 3 tickets instead of just 1, so maybe that'll help your odds a little bit more. Still going to be really slim, but 3 is definitely better than 1. Now, a big update a lot of people are looking forward to is the apartment system. Looks really, really snazzy. They got these big new apartment complexes added into each of the housing areas. They will have sort of this shared living space inside to hang out with people in your complex, which is really cool. Apparently that area will have access to a chocobo stable, but not gardening. Each room is going to be 500K. And each building has 512 apartments for a total of 1,536 per server. I'm not sure that's a super great idea. I was kind of hoping it was going to be unlimited. People are going to be rushing for these just like they did for houses. And honestly, so I have a medium house. I don't really need, the full medium. I honestly almost kind of want to just give it up to somebody and a company maybe, and pick up a apartment for myself because it looks kind of cool and it would suit what I need it for, which is basically nothing. So, I might be doing that. So if you're on the Balmung server, no promises, but there might be a medium house up for grabs at some point. Not going to sell it, I'm just going to give it away, of course, but we'll see, once we get a little more information, maybe. All in all, looks pretty cool. We are also, speaking of housing, getting a few more adjustments. We're getting aquariums of various sizes. You're going to be able to fill those up with fish that you catch, so that'll be really cool for fishing. You can spend your time catching really rare and cool looking fish to then put into your aquariums. It'll also breathe a little bit of life into that market, selling them on the market board, so on and so forth. So if you're a fisher, you're going to have some new stuff to work on in patch 3.4, that's for sure. We are also getting a new playlist feature for the equestrian, so you can set up like just a playlist of music for it to go through. That'll be pretty cool if you like to just kind of hang out and listen to Final Fantasy XIV's music. Now, diving back into in-game elements, like UI elements, they are going to be adding a new double cross hotbar feature. This is going to be huge for you controller players out there. You will be able to quickly double tap a trigger on your controller to access an additional 8 to 16 new hotbar slots on your crossbars. This can also be used in conjunction with the expanded crossbar system for even more access. It's going to have a lot of variability. You can edit the display similar to other UI elements, such as making the W crossbar stay permanently or making other parts of the crossbar that are not currently in use transparent. So you can really customize your UI. It's really going to help you controller players access a lot more abilities, so that should be pretty cool for you guys. I'm really excited for you, and you should be too. We're also going to have some Diadem updates in patch 3.4, as the new exploratory zone will not come until patch 3.5. They wanted it out for 3.4, but it would have held up the patch because I guess they're putting a lot of work into making sure it has a lot of interesting content and it doesn't flop like the Diadem did. So with 3.4 Diadem updates, you will be able to queue into it as a disciple of the land, so you no longer have to hamper your combat group because you just want to gather. They're going to make adjustments to the spoil exchange rates and also add an item level 235 gear as a sort of catch up to get you ready for all the content in patch 3.4, so that's pretty cool. You won't have to spam dungeons and the Weeping City and so on and so forth to get 240 when you can just grab some 235 and kind of get mostly caught up and ready to go. Of course, they are going to add a new weekly tombstone known as the Elegant Tombstones of Scriptures, at least in JP. The name may change for NAEU. Of course, we're also getting new crafter recipes for armor and accessories. However, they are doing something new in 3.4. They are adding weapons into that. They're going to test the waters with this. So we're going to have crafted armor, weapons, and accessories in patch 3.4. So for you raiders out there, you're going to have weapons included in the patch that will likely be either the same item level or higher than your Maiden weapons. Now, you role players out there can rejoice. They are adding in a online roleplay status, so you're going to be able to hunt down your fellow role players in game. A lot of you guys had been asking for that on the official forums, and they finally listened, and there you go. So please look forward to a nice little quality of life change for you role players out there. I know a lot of people on Balmung are going to be very, very happy about that. We're also going to have some new veteran rewards coming up for 1,440 days. However, there is no further info on that yet. They took a little bit to get around to making new vet rewards, but they are coming. Now, this isn't related to patch 3.4. The rest of the video more or less isn't, but we got some other info from the anniversary live letter. They made a Odin statuette that you're going to be able to buy, like a nice little statue. There's a picture out there somewhere. I could not find it for this video. I'm sorry. But you're going to be able to buy a nice little statue for your room, put it on display on your shelf or whatever. However, buying the statue will also come with an in-game emote of Zantetsuken. The price seems to be roughly around 125, 130 bucks converted from Japanese yen. The price for NAEU isn't decided yet, so it could be more, it could be less. It's going to be on sale mid-October. NA pre-orders are going to start at FanFest in Vegas. Pre-orders for non-attendees will begin after FanFest, and sales will start in December. So start saving for that if you're interested in the statue for your real life room and the Zantetsuken emote in game. Speaking of FanFest, we also found out what the special outfit is going to be, and I'm sure none of us are surprised. At least I wasn't. I literally guessed these two. We're going to get Tidus and Yuna outfits. I mean, given the minions we're getting for FanFest, it kind of seemed like obvious. So we are getting Tidus and Yuna. Looks pretty cool. More, more classic Final Fantasy gear. I'm dropping stuff. They look great, so I am looking forward to that. Even if you can't attend FanFest, you can buy a live stream ticket. You will get this outfit. So if you want this outfit and you're not going, do not fret. You still have a chance. You just have to pay for like $35 ticket, something like that. Significantly cheaper than flying out there. All in all, looks to be a very, very cool patch. I'm looking forward to it. That about wraps up the very merry overview of patch 3.4. However, before we go, I have one last thing I want to show, as this is something very important to me. I'm sure a lot of you other tanks out there are absolutely psyched for this. A lot of people are really upset, but I could not be happier. The winner of the tank design contest is... I get a drum roll, right? That's awful. It's going to be the Luminous Allagan tank set. I am super excited because I'm obsessed with Allagan gear design. This was my favorite set from the gear design contest, and it will be making it in-game. They're going to do their best to accurately portray every element of this set, and I am so excited. So, fellow tanks, if you were hoping for the Allagan tank set, it is coming. Please look forward to it. But that about wraps up this video. Just a quick overview of everything that we learned from the anniversary live letter and my take on it, more or less. So thank you so much for watching. Please look forward to patch 3.4, and I will see you guys in the next video.